Okay, so this video has been a long time coming because I don't think that I accurately depicted magazine crew from my earlier videos, like way back in the day. So I'm going to be talking about magazine crew and like the dark side of it and the not so fun aspects of a traveling sales crew. And to any of my personal friends that I was with on magazine crew, any former bosses, you guys know that what I'm about to say is true. So don't call me. Don't text me. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery that has in fact been to prison. Ta-da! It's not a flex, it's just a fact. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel, my podcast, my Facebook, Spotify, all of the things. Without further ado, let's kick this thing off. Okay, if you don't know my story, I worked on a traveling sales company from like 19 to like 22, 23, on and off, very sporadically. It was not something that I was ever going to be a lifer for. Essentially, I used this traveling sales crew to go on the run from parole and charges out of New York, and the perfect thing to do. Not that I'm trying to teach y'all how to break the law. God, that sounds bad. But the perfect thing in my mind back then, in my very young teenage and early adult mind, was, hey, let's go on the run and, travel the country. We can make a little bit of money and not go back to jail. Huh? Sounded like a good idea. And I was introduced to this sales crew. They sold magazine subscriptions. And over the years, you guys have been like, wait, like magazines? Like magazines? Like, no, dude, like ESPN, Home and Gardening, Maxim, like magazines that you read, like an actual magazine. And I have told you guys historically that my experience on magazine crew was relatively positive because it was. I didn't experience a lot of the things that a lot of other people did, nor did I recognize their really bad tactics in recruiting people and getting people to join, and then worse, getting people to stay. One of the really dark things that magazine crews do, and not just magazine crews, a lot of traveling sales companies do this. Now, they'll sell anything from magazine subscriptions to vacuum cleaners, actual cleaner like spray cleaner, meat, like steak, stuff like that. So there's companies that travel the country and sell all kinds of shit. And yeah, these are the tactics that they use. They will go into neighborhoods, sometimes college campuses, but historically, they will go into lower income neighborhoods. And they will recruit people that are 18 to 25 that are struggling financially, that want to travel the country, and they will recruit them to come onto the crew with all of these promises. You're going to get to travel the world, you're going to get the hell out of here, and it's going to be so fun. You get cash every day, and we really have a solid family here, and we just have a great time. We work hard, but we party harder. We go to concerts, we get tattoos, we earn all of this jewelry. So that will sell anyone that is struggling financially, or, any, young adult that wants to travel the country and get the heck out of whatever circumstance they're dealing with. Sometimes these people are homeless and they meet them, holding signs or panhandling or whatever. And they'll be like, man, you don't have to do that. You can come with us, have a better life. The problem with that is once you go to these crews, they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay there and earn money. And if you don't stay there, then a lot of times they will just abandon you in whatever city that they're at. Sometimes you'll get a bus ticket home. My boss, that's something that I will always say. I had a really good experience. I had a positive experience. My boss's name was Josiah, and he was great at that. He would give you a bus ticket and make sure that you got home. However, other managers within his camp and other camps would not provide a bus ticket to somebody that wanted to leave. I did see that quite a few times, and there would always be like this really weird reason as to why, like the person that wants to quit pissed off a manager, or they did something, or I think a really common lie was, oh, this person, they wanted to quit, but they were stealing our people. They wanted to steal our people and leave, or they got into a relationship with a team bitch, queen bitch. I'll explain that in a second. And they're going to take her. They're going to quit, but they want her to leave too. And then that person would get jumped for that. So there was always drama. There was always violence. And it really just was not what it seemed. If you guys have ever seen the movie American Honey, It's similar to that, but there's a lot of inaccuracies there because it's a movie and it's Hollywood. Let me explain the levels to you guys. When you first get hired, you're an agent, and that just means that you have not made enough sales to move up in your rank. So there's agent, and then there's team bitch or team cock if you're a guy. That means you've made X amount of sales in a 1 week time period and you've now been promoted. It means you're going to make more money. Stuff like that. You're going to be able to, have more freedom in the hotel, and it's just all around better for you. Your percentages are higher, especially though, when you're selling a magazine subscription, which one magazine subscription, a 3-year to 5-year subscription, $50 to $75. I have no idea how much it even is now, but absolutely ridiculous prices. So after team bitch or team cock, there is queen bitch or king cock. After that, you can be promoted to a car handler, which means you will be driving one of the vans or one of the vehicles, and you'll drop you'll drop the people off in neighborhoods so that they can sell magazines. After that, you can become a junior manager. It's not easy to do, and a lot of females are not promoted into that position. After junior manager, you will get your contract and you will be a manager where you have agents working underneath you. So it's agent, team bitch, queen bitch, car handler, junior manager, manager, or owner, or whatever. The way that they were able to make money doing this is that back in the day, there were these clearinghouses, and they would get the magazine subscriptions for like $2, $5. And these are, 3 to 5 year long subscriptions. And then we would sell them for $50. And I know that the price moved up as I left. Magazine Crew really isn't a thing anymore. They've transitioned, and now they're like selling solar panels or energy or something like that. I don't know. Another really kind of gross practice when it comes to these crews is that I was a queen bitch. It's a queen bee. I even have the crew numbers tattooed on me. Again, that's because I have a lot of friends that did that, and I had a really overall positive experience on crew. My boss was great, but one of the really weird things is that because of my rank on crew, I was not allowed to date somebody of a lower rank. I couldn't date an agent. I couldn't date anyone below me, and it was just weird. They wanted the queen bitches to date managers or date a king, and it was just strange, you know what I mean? People that were not a team or a queen or a king, they got treated less than every single day. They had to do other things that I would never have to do. Girls don't have to pump gas, but if I was a guy and I had the least amount of sales that day, I would have to sit in the very back of the van that they call whale shit. I would be mocked. I'd be called a wob, which means a weak ass bitch. I'd have to pump the gas. I'd have to run errands. Maybe I'd have to roll a blunt for one of the managers. Like, I would be treated like crap as a guy if I didn't do that well and I had the least amount of sales. The people with the most amount of sales sit in the front of the vehicles, and the people with the least amount sit in the back. And for the guys, it is a little bit harder having to do stuff like that, like pump gas, run errands. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but they're also talking mad shit to you while you're doing that. Managers will make the guys do their laundry and do all kinds of shit for them if they're not, getting money and if they're not producing the way that they expect them to. Sometimes they would resort to violence. So it was my first week on crew, and this one guy was going to go to a different crew, and he kind of whispered that to me, and it was in earshot of someone else that heard it. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to stay here. I don't want to meet more new people. My first week was kind of rough, but I was promoted to team bitch the first week, queen bitch the second week. It was the fastest that they had ever seen anyone come up. So there was rumors that I had done that previously and that I was going to try to crew hop and go to another crew. So when someone else overheard this guy saying, hey, Jess, why don't you come with me? I'm going to go to a different crew. I'm going to go back to my original crew. This crew is whack, whatever he was saying, whatever crazy shit he was saying. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to start over anywhere else. I think I'm going to stick it out here. That got back to my GM, who I am still friends with, and shout out to you, Joey. You were an amazing GM. Also, that dude has the fucking memory of an elephant. I could call Joey right now and be like, hey, do you remember what this dude's name was and where we were at? He'll be like, yeah, his name was Bob. He was wearing an orange shirt, and we were at the Holiday Inn in the offices in room 113. Like, he'll just remember every single little detail about anything. It's crazy. Dude's an alien. Anyway, he flipped the table up. My GM flipped the table up and started yelling at this guy that was going to try to steal me and then go to a different crew, because I guess he was telling other people that as well. And he got his ass beat, like really bad. The violence part of it really isn't even the worst of the worst though, but just to talk about that a little bit more, getting in fights on crew was something that was very common for my crew. It's not something that would happen in, other people's crews if they banned liquor. That was one of the rules that another crew had, and they were always at the top of the bar charts. They put up a lot of sales, and they ran a clean crew for the most part. Something that I think my boss didn't really do very well is that he would let people drink. I definitely was caught a couple of different times bringing hard drugs into the hotel. Their policy was weed. You can smoke weed, you can drink a little bit, no hard drugs or you're gone. And I remember I really pushed the boundary with that quite a lot. My boss was always cutting me a lot of slack because I was a cash cow and I brought in a lot of sales. And I think that was a mistake that he made. He should have been really hard on me, in my personal opinion, because I knew that I could get away with a lot of things. And that's the thing with these crews. Like, as long as you're like putting up crazy numbers, they're not going to fire you more often than not, no matter how crazy your behavior is. But I will always be grateful to my boss on that crew. He let me go back, a bunch of different times. He let me detox in a hotel for 2 weeks and get right. And that was, that's exactly what happened the last time I was on crew. I ran away from New York, detoxed in a hotel in Virginia. We traveled around the country. I relapsed on the low. One of the worst days was I think we were in Kansas or something from Virginia, and I was putting up crazy numbers. I was doing so good. I was very consistent. It was me and my friend Doug, who passed away a few years back. We were killing it. We were making tons of money, but my boss came into my hotel room and he sat down and he's like, "I'm just so proud of you, Jess. You got sober and you're doing it and you're setting such a good example for all the other people on crew. And this is the best you've ever done. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work." And he walked out. I felt this big because I knew that I had to run and leave because I was going to detox again. And I just could not look him in the eye and tell him I've actually been doing heroin this entire time from Virginia. Gut wrenching. So I did exactly that. I left and I went to Arkansas and I never went back, because I went to prison. So there was a lot of ups and downs for me personally on crew. This is kind of the worst thing that I think happens with these crews. Sometimes they will hire a minor. And this is something that I saw happen one time within our camp. This girl slipped through the cracks, and that should have never happened. They ID everyone and all of that. But I know that other crews hire minors, especially if you're like a couple weeks away from your 18th birthday. They will make an exception and they will bring you on crew. And that is just so messed up. It is so messed up that a lot of crews do that. So top of the list is going to really low income neighborhoods and getting people to join the crew. Another one is making you feel trapped there or kicking your ass if you want to leave. And then of course, hiring minors, top of the list, not okay. And a lot of those managers weren't even paying their taxes and they left crew or quit with huge tax bills or, warrants in other states for getting arrested for selling magazines door to door. I may or may not have a warrant out of Texas that I'm working on taking care of. It should be good by now. But you'll leave crew and start a life, and then you'll realize, oh wait, I got arrested and never went back to court for that. So it just kind of ruins some people's lives. There's a lot of long-term consequences when it comes to crews like that. A tax bill will be one of them. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes you'll be stranded in a different fucking state and you'll have no means or resources to get home. It could also lead to trafficking, but I do believe that this is kind of a form of trafficking. And I'm sorry that I didn't talk about that sooner. I really just talked about this from my point of view. I had a positive experience for the most part, even though I did see some crazy shit, but I didn't take into account other people's really traumatic experience when it comes to these kinds of crews. And I didn't talk about the ethical issues with that my entire career. And I don't know why. I just thought that didn't happen to me, so I shouldn't talk about it. but I was wrong for that. Because I have the platform that I have, I should shed light on these kinds of things. And I'm sorry that I didn't do that sooner. This is very random, but Burner was actually on a magazine crew, and I know all the people that he worked with. He only did it for a few weeks, but he knows exactly what I'm talking about too. And that was such a interesting thing to learn when we first met, that, oh my God, you've done exactly this. That's crazy. It's such a small world. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have ever worked on one of these crews, whether it's magazines, cleaner, vacuums, meat, whatever it is. Let me know if you have any kind of experience with this in the comment section. I'm going to end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you. And I'll see y'all in my next one.